So when we're talking technical terms, when it comes to this trailer and building it, this is what I like to refer to as a complete and utter balls up. So welcome back, it's One Man and his quad, and today's aim is to put in at least one of the windows, or at least cut in to the panelling here and put a hole in that to put the window in. I'm going to show you how to do that. We have got Land Rover Defender windows, as we showed you on the last video. They came second hand, therefore they don't come with a template that if you went and bought these windows, may I add, possibly at double to triple the price, new, you would actually get a template. We've got materials that we can make a template with, that's no problem. We're also going to start on the insulation, so if you come with me, because everything's sort of scattered around the site at the moment, just finding space for everything, in our office, which of course is locked, because I plan these videos really well. You know, you think you'd have doors open. So office. So if we walk into here, and behind me there is 4 sheets of Celotex 20mm insulation board. This stuff is easy to use, it's easy to cut. The dust isn't particularly nice stuff, so we're going to obviously put panels over that and put a moisture barrier over that, which I think I showed you on the last video. So that's going to go in behind the panel, but I want to cut the windows out first. I want to get all the holes in the areas that need to be. So basically we'll put just a sheet of that over that, cut to size, and then cut the hole out for the window instead of trying to line everything up and cut through more than one panel at a time. So that's where we're at. I'll get some footage of doing the template and also hopefully cutting the hole, and another great soundtrack as well, because it is One Man and his quad, of course. Enjoy the video and I'll talk to you in a bit. So what we're working on today is a template for the window. Like I said in the introduction, I don't have a paper template to stick on the side of my trailer because the windows I got were second-hand examples. So this actually came as part of the package for all the aluminium composite that Chigwell Sign Supplies delivered to me. It's low weight foamed PVC sheet. It's known as Foamex as a trade name. It's light, it's durable, but it's also relatively rigid as well. All I've done is taken a sheet of this. You give me a second. Taken the window, which you'll recognise off a 110 Land Rover. You see plenty of them about. As I said, second hand, slightly dusty. And the way that's facing you at the moment is going to be the outside. We flip it over and show you what goes on the inside. You'll see this is actually a lip. It's not actually part of the full window. It doesn't go all the way back. So what I'm interested in is creating a hole this size, the inner radius of the window. And all you need to do simply, like I've done just now, is place it down, take a marker, draw around it. That's simple. And this stuff is dead easy to cut as well. And this is what you're left with, basically. It's easy to cut out, score, and snap away. It does come with this protective cover over the top, which you can remove. I'll keep it on. And that's it. That's ready to mount onto the trailer. I'm going to do one more thing though, another template, because the way this trailer is designed, we've got very, very low tolerances in gaps on the side especially. What I mean by that is that some idiot stood here with this big white board, bought windows and then put the middle upright pretty much the same length as those windows. So, like I said in the last video, the windows are going to sit vertically on the back of the trailer, which is great. Both equal, either side, they'll look great. A bit concerned that the on the market, i.e. eBay, wheel arches / mud flaps might interfere with sort of this area of the window. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I've got the dimensions. I'm going to draw up a basic mud flap from the design I've seen on eBay and the dimensions I've got. I'm going to make sure that's also in place when we put the template on the side of the trailer to make sure that we're not going to disrupt any light coming through the window. We're going to do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Insulation then starting to go in. We're using Celotex 20mm insulation board, but you can use pretty much anything you want for this job. The board is a lot more preferable than the roll because it saves mess apparently. That's the extent to the expanding foam I took off, which you saw me applying in the time lapse. So I've neatened all that up last night. As you can probably just see at the top of that window, the silver tape there is going to go over the top of the foam. So basically everything's going to be uniform on a nice flat surface. What I've done here, I just take that out a bit, is started digging out some of the insulation to fit these wooden blocks, which are going to allow the cladding to go on the inside when the time comes. When I start doing this half of the trailer, I will probably cut out the insulation prior to putting it up just to make it a bit more easier and slightly less messy. But that's where we are at the moment. I'm going to continue doing these wooden blocks. Hopefully get around to start putting the roof on and the side panels here on the trailer. I tell you what, there's a lot of stuff that's going on here, a lot of stuff to do. You don't quite realise how much there is to do really, but the panels are looking great. As is the back end there. You may have seen on Instagram a few weeks back, we posted those lights working. That's all wired in now here. The loom runs underneath the trailer. It's the old trailer board wiring that was on the trailer when we bought it. I got rid of the old trailer board because it was a bit manky. I extended some of the wires, put new ends on them, and we've also put the stands on for the two corners. So the trailer is actually as it would be. It's sat as it would be, you know, when finished. So that's all looking good. They just simply bolt on same vice type clamps there that are used on the jockey wheel, and just some trailer stands there. I didn't want anything fancy, and literally you just undo, push up when the vehicle is in transit, or alternatively you can take them out altogether if you just want peace of mind of them slipping down. But that's where we're at now, doing a bit of research on how to build the door as well. Excuse me. So that's where the door's going to sit, in that gap there, or part of that gap there at least. And we'll get around to sort of building that. I've got a few ideas in mind. I was just checking, I've actually got all the bits I actually need as offcuts from the actual project itself. So cost saving there. Right, back to work. The majority of the panels are now on. I've done the front bit there. We can see the trailer has actually moved this way across the workshop. So we've not got a lot of space there. There's a ladder in the way. I'm going to take you around the other side though, and show you the main progress in a minute. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some action of me doing some work today. Let me flip the camera around and show you what's been going on. So as I said, I've got a ladder in the way that way, so we're not going to go. But as you can see, both panels are on the side. This is what happens when you don't use the old phrase, measure twice, cut once, and measure once, cut once, and then halfway through the cut realise that you should have added 2 centimetres on for the lip that's running all the way around that splat beaming. But never mind, bit of filler out, and we sorted that out. The most dramatic change, I think, is at the back. If we move our way down here, we now have working lights, not just there for show. It's all wired in around the back there with a hell of a lot of gaffer tape. The intention is to get some cable ties and some cable tie holders to neaten all that up, but we will see. We have a number plate and number plate light, keeping it legal, and that's been all patched into the old wiring loom that came with the trailer and the, I think it's a 6-7 pin socket. So basically now the table with the trailer with the jockey wheel here at the front, which I had to put back on the other day because when we fitted it we used riv nuts. Unfortunately they just weren't strong enough for the job, so I've drilled a hole, or continued the holes through to the other side there of the square box section, the steel there, and bolted it in with some rather heavy duty bolts and some nuts there. You can just about pick that up in the bad light we have at this end of the stable, because we've got a nice shiny big light there, but both lights are at one end here of the stable. Inside you can see progress has been made with the Celotex. We saw that in the last video being put up. Windows of course were being cut out as well in a previous episode. They've been all done, but around this side the biggest change is this big hole in the side. This was one continuous panel when we put it on, obviously not now, because this is where the door is going to be. I was going to do a video on this, but you know, this is the amount of space I've got to set up the filming equipment in. There isn't a lot basically. Cameras and stuff would have got in the way. This was basically all done on the fly, so there was sort of no plan involved in doing this. It was sort of trial and error, so hence I didn't do any filming for it. What we have done, and what I'm going to explain to you quickly, is we have cut a panel approximately 1 metre high to about 60 centimetres in length, and that's going to be our door area. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of panel either side, definitely some up above. So we cut the hole out using the jigsaw. I've been using the angle grinder to do a lot of the cutting on this project, and then did the windows and used the jigsaw. And actually, what a great little tool like this. I mean, I don't think it gets as much credit. It was one of those purchases, cheap jigsaw, thought that'll come in handy one day. Purchased that from B&Q about 2-3 years ago now, and I've never really used it, and I don't know why, because it's actually given me a great result on this job. Anyway, we cut the hole out. We put the panel that we used, or that was in this gap, to one side, because we've actually used it to skin the door. I'll show you that in a minute. As you may know, if you've been following us on YouTube, on Project T, Aluminium Warehouse unfortunately made a mistake with the order. They sent us some lengths that were too short. They did rectify it, they were brilliant. But as a result, I had a load of lengths of the black box section here, the aluminium box section, to be able to use on the door project. So I've lined the door in the same way I've done the rest of the panelling, so the lip hides, so it's all flush against the door. Ignore the work on the ceiling there. It's not my strong point. So it runs a frame 3/4 of the way around the door, because at the top the black box section is actually in here behind this piece here. On the camera it probably looks like just another piece of square box section. It isn't. I'll come to that in a minute. So as a result, we've got a nice smooth opening. If we turn around here, we will see the panel that's going to go on the door. Again, lined 3/4 of the way down with box section. Again, offcut. So this door has literally cost me the price of this particular piece going back now. This is a continuous hinge. What I wanted to do is, one of the main objectives with this camper build is obviously to keep it watertight. You don't want water going in. It was one of the things that I didn't particularly like when I went off camping in Bristol a couple of months back. The fact that even though the weather outside was dry, it was bright, as soon as the temperature dropped at night, you ended up with condensation. We are in the UK. We have about 3 or 4 decent days a year. So the likelihood is that when this trailer is outside being used, it's going to rain. So I didn't want any leaks on it. And I've been really meticulous in making sure that all the panel gaps are sealed. Probably gone overkill in some respects. Don't worry, this is all going to get neatened up before you see the final finished product. But I didn't want little things letting it down, and one of the little things that can actually bring water in if you're not careful is your average hinge. Now you can buy lengths of hinges. You've seen hinges being used again on campers, on trailers and whatever. I came across a video on YouTube with a guy that was actually building, again similar to what I'm doing, his own camper, but he was doing this in New Zealand, and he was also fabricating, like I'm doing, their own door, because these doors in the UK, to buy one, something similar, same concept, obviously a door is there to get in and out of the vehicle. That's all I wanted it for. Doors doing exactly the same job are going to cost upwards £140, and that's even before you've included the VAT on. We're trying to do this project as economically as possible. So £140 for a door is just not in the budget. I've not got the money for it. He was doing something similar, as I said, in New Zealand, and he recommended this. It's a continuous plastic hinge. Centerflex is the name of the manufacturer of it, I think. I can't seem to find any website information for them in the UK. However, there are several distributors. I bought a meter piece off eBay. Deep intake of breath, £17 for a meter piece. It's not cheap stuff. However, being one continuous piece and made up of 2 types of plastic, it allows there to be no gaps in manufacture at least, for any water to get in. I'm going to very carefully remove these clamps here because these are actually under quite a lot of pressure. If we open it up there, as you can see, I have riveted it in 3 points. So far, I might go and do an extra couple depending on how well this holds up when I put the door on later on today. But you can see it's got quite a lot of flex to it. Again, if I try and open it up here and try and get inside. Grooves are there to take the water away. And the whole thing is very, very light. Being plastic as well, obviously it's never going to rust. And the idea is the top of the panel, the edge without the black square tubing along it, will sit in this groove here where my thumb is now. And we will find a way of putting that. It might be a case of pop riveting everything in. I have got a lock on the way, a proper caravan lock, again, not cheap, but we're trying to keep the thing as secure as we can. I will seal the edges as well once I know the gap involved, and then the door will be pretty much finished. Oh, we'll pop a gas strut, I think, or two on it just to allow a nice smooth opening and also take some of the wear and tear off that hinge. They are apparently good for 5,000 opening and closing cycles, which is quite amazing. They are usually used on the sides of lockers, on coaches and trucks. So they are designed for commercial use, therefore they are very, very hard wearing. And I think, to be honest, they're going to be more than over-engineered for the job. When putting it on, we just have to be a bit careful because this lip here, if I close it back up again with my thumb, it's not easy to do, just with one hand. You can see, you might not be able to just about see, but this lip here raises up, so there needs to be a gap. You can't sit the hinge actually flush. So this is why there's a hole. There's also another piece of black square box section behind there, filling the gap in, and what I'll probably do is get some rubber strip so it remains flexible so this can sit up, but it will hide all this area here when that time comes. So there you go, first attempt, and I'm really, really happy with it. It's a bit of a cat flap design at the moment. I don't know whether you can swing back like a cat flap. Just slightly catching on this corner here, which I'm going to rectify with an angle grinder in a minute. That corner there. But all in all, it's looking really, really good. Riveted it on the top there. All this is going to get neatened up, so I'm not too worried about this at the moment. As I say, there's going to be a lock going in down there, but the door is hung and it's in place, and I'm really happy with that. It's sort of another milestone of the build complete. So that is door up. As you can see, it's in the up position, being held up at the moment by a piece of wood because the gas struts aren't here for it, neither is the lock, both are on order at the moment. It's in the up position because I've done a little bit of painting, as you can see behind me, because I did have to do a little bit of fettling off camera with a technical tool called a hammer. But it now all fits, and it will fit really snugly as well once I have ordered the ceiling, which is going to go around the edge of the door. I'm going to do that in the next few days, likely to be a closed foam sort of sealant to allow a bit more flexibility than the rubber. That's going to be left there for now. I'm going to go and finish off some sealing, and I'm going to call it a night. The next scene, however, you're going to see is going to be probably in a few days' time, where both the lock and the gas strut have arrived. I'm going to try and do a video on how to fit those. So it isn't tomorrow, it's actually not the day after tomorrow, it's the day after that. But the great news is we have a lock and it functions. Put this in last night, had to wait for everything to dry. As you can see, we've insulated everything. We've done a bit more insulation and expanding foam as well, and foil tape is everywhere, so that's all looking good, but we know how to do that already. Let's drop this down, if I can do this with one hand. Bring this down and show, hopefully it does lock. There we go. Wasn't very graceful, but that is how it is at the moment. We have a Carolock 700 here. It's a caravan lock. It's usually placed on the left or the right hand side of the door. When you do purchase them, they do come with the option of left or right. This is a right hand lock. If it was a left hand lock, the latch mechanism would be upside down. So you have you'd have your lock, your key lock at the top with the handle at the bottom, and you pull it down. In this case, you pull it up to open. Personal preference. Bit of trial and error really. Bit of a guess to work it out. On the reverse side, you've got a handle tool, open it up. Now, I went for this particular one, a bit more hardy, made out of metal. The old ones that you see on caravans are a lot of plastic. I don't know why. I just preferred the metal one. It just seemed to fit in better with the build of the design. As you see there, we've got the catch, which goes against the bottom pillar here. As you can see, we've got some scratch marks in that. We've also, I don't know whether that's being picked up on the camera or not, we have had to butcher the catch a little bit to make it all fit. Now these Carolocks come in 3 pieces when you buy them. You've got this reverse piece here. Just behind there, I don't know whether that can be picked up. This piece here is actually a separate piece. It's a panel. And of course you get the front bit as well. And basically you sandwich everything together. It's got a neat little gasket there made out of foam to stop the water coming in, which is quite good. Sandwich everything together. What I find is they don't come with instructions, or at least the one I purchased, they come with different branding on, don't come with instructions. I don't know whether they come from the factory like that or what. It's quite simple to work out how to fit them together. Anybody with half a bit of sense will be able to put these together. That's not a problem. It's the cutting of the hole that I found a bit of trial and error. What you need to do is take a measurement off the inside. I took the measurement off the inside of the gasket originally, which made it slightly too big. You take it off the inside of your external piece here. When you get it and turn it all over, it's all got the lever mechanism inside. You'll notice some little catches on the edge, and that is designed to help guide the outside of the lock into position and fit snugly. So you basically end up doing a lot of fettling to the hole you cut out, because you don't obviously want to go too big too soon. It took me a little while to get it right, got it into position, found that it was pushing through, so bit of trusty CT1 round the edge and let that go off overnight. Came to it this morning and it's really secure. All secured in at the back. I'm just missing one screw there that dropped out of the bag with a hole in it. It was in fact this bag. So bag had a hole in it. I'm sure that will turn up and we'll screw that in at a later date. But the back panel screws on to the outside lock, and then the inside locking mechanism screws on to the back of the back panel. Just to be aware, you know which way around it goes, because the actual back panel is countersunk. Sorry, the panel in between there is countersunk, so you know which way around to put the screws are. It should come with 8 screws, but as I say, no instructions. So hopefully, a bit of a top tip there of how to get these fitted. If I pick that up again, you'll see it's there's no gas strut in there. That's my next job to work out, and I'm going to do probably a separate video on gas struts, because it's a bit of a black art and I've done some research on it, and I think there's so much information that they won't fit on the end of this video, which is going to end up with a really long video. So it's Chris from the future, and it's a scene you don't usually see. I'm in my office at my house and I'm just editing the one man and his quad video that we're going to put out there, the epic length version for Christmas, because 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks yesterday, it's going to be Christmas Day, and I won't be putting a video out on Christmas Day. In fact, I don't think I'll be putting a video out until the new year now, so I wanted to do sort of a double episode for you, just to show you where we are at. Now, I did mention as you just seen, that we were going to put gas struts on the doors. This has been an absolute nightmare to try and get right. There are guides on YouTube on how to fit gas struts. Please refer to those and don't take any of my advice I may have added and not edited out of this video, because I have had an absolute nightmare. And as a result, where we are now on the 11th of December, so we're a few weeks after we did all the filming for those videos in the door. The door is still on, it still works, but I haven't found a solution as yet in terms of gas struts to keep the door up. I've gone either too much pressure or too little pressure. So we're gonna not do a video on gas struts. However, even though I did say we were going to do one, but we're not, because the advice is out there on the internet. I think people can do a lot better. What I am going to say is have a wonderful Christmas, whatever you're up to. I know in England especially, things are a little bit strange at the moment. You are allowed to go and see family, but only for 5 days. Make the most of it. Stay safe. I will be back in the new year. The trailer is making epic progress at the moment. Really, really happy, and I'm planning to do a lot more over the holiday period on it. We're pretty much at the stage now, as I sit here, where we're going to put the electrics in. I'll try and do a video on that, but most of the paneling is up inside, so these videos are usually about 3 or 4 weeks behind me publishing them on YouTube to what the actual progress on the work is now. So it's all very, very exciting, and hopefully come the spring, and if time allows and also the rulings involving COVID allows, we will be going out and testing it out, and I will be sure to take some video when we do give it a bit of a road test and an overnight test. Whatever you get up to over Christmas, stay safe, have a wonderful Christmas, have a happy new year. I will catch you in 2021. Remember, like us on the socials, you know what they are by now: Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you give us a like or a follow on there over the festive period. Hopefully some more stuff will be going on there real soon. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video.